Hi, everybody. It's me, LisaT, coming at you with some positive energy. Reading The Language of Letting Go by Beattie. There's one stalk right here. You see it? I want the flower close to me, but it's literally like gonna almost poke me in the eye, and we're gonna be okay with it. Okay, so yes, reading The Language of Letting Go by Beattie. Lighten up your life with Lisa. I'm in a extra good mood. I was just writing in my journal because I've had so much trauma in my life, and because I'm in recovery, and I face all the things that come up for me, and I'm on the healing journey. It gets really painful and really tough at times, but I push through and I'm doing the work and I'm doing my dues. And so when everything lifts, it is, when it gets good, it's more than just good for me because it's such a lift. So I get to experience when I've dealt with some deep stuff. The good news is when you're in recovery, this is what I've learned over years after years after year after year, is when we have a lot of pain, we also have an equal amount of joy that follows. And I'm experiencing it today. I was goofy at work today. I was making jokes. I was making my coworkers laugh. We were, in between. And today was one of my busiest days I've had in years. So I took on an extra client today, and it's like miraculous that I actually feel great because the clouds from what I've just dealt with for the last 3 weeks, all the stuff I've faced, all the lessons I've learned, everything, I got to come to the next level. So it's a yeehaw day. Okay, so let's see what the reading has to say. Something to do with letting go of shame. Maybe I let go of shame today too. Like I let go of over the last 3 weeks, what I was doing was letting go of the shame of, I was ashamed that I hadn't done a good enough job with, in the family unit. I was ashamed of, how I behaved and these things, and that was my reality. But over the last 3 weeks, I worked on that. So I was able to tell myself, no, Lisa, you've done not only did you do a good job, you did a great job with the family. You did a great job showing up for that. You did a great job doing this. And I've never had that language for myself before. So that internal dialogue. So I was able to let go of shame by going through some really tough times and seeing it differently. I did a lot of praying too. I asked for a lot of help over and over and over and over at multiple times every day. And higher powers showed up to help me through. So letting go of shame, the shame that binds us. I have a book that I read eons ago, like early on, one of my first books about trying to learn about self-discovery, because I was seeking shortly after my mom passed away, by the time I was 18, I think I started seeking yoga and, the shame that binds us, and how, what to say when you're talking to yourself. All these books I was grabbing because I knew that I needed some answers. I started to seek, what is going on here? Why do I feel this way? Why do I feel so, but I wasn't able to put my finger on anything. But I just started getting books too, that were on personal development. And one of them was about letting go of the shame that binds us. If we are in shame, we will feel bound. We're in bondage. If we feel ashamed, we're not going to speak our truth. We're going to people please. We're going to worry that we're not good enough. So we need to let that go. It's not real, the shame. It's not real. It's just a story we're telling ourselves. And it happened because of trauma. If you wonder, do I have trauma in my life? Did you have a childhood? You have some trauma at some level, So many of us were victimized, sometimes more than once. Yeah, then anyways. Many of us were victimized, sometimes more than once. We may have been physically abused, yep, sexually abused, yep, or exploited by the addiction of another. Yep, check. So understand that if another person has abused us, it is not cause for us to feel shame. I used to feel why did I deserve that? What did I do to deserve this? How did I get myself in this situation? It was all my fault. It was always my fault. And the world told me it was my fault too. I mean, even just in the last, about 6 years ago when I became an RMT, there was a person stalking me. And when I went to the authorities, there was multiple authorities that I had to deal with, but one of the centers that I had to go to deal with the trauma of it, they asked me a question, and it basically was under the same umbrella as well, how short was your skirt, kind of thing. Something as if I had asked for this to happen to me. That came from the system too. So no wonder I would feel shame and it was my fault. I'm sure if that happened just 6 years ago, I'm sure it happened multiple times throughout the journey. So we got to be aware of these messages we received from others and know that they are not true. These messages are not truth. So understand, if another person has abused us, it is not cause for us to feel shame. The guilt for the act of abuse belongs to the perpetrator, not the victim. But victims often, this is like the story. I'm so not alone, because I talk to multiple people that have been through similar situations, and it's horrifying. The victim ends up feeling guilty. So then we have a system that reinforces that. Like, man, we have stuff we got to push through. So even if in recovery we fall prey to being victimized, that is not cause for shame. So even if we get victimized again, that is nothing. There's never a cause for shame. We do not need to shame ourselves. The goal of recovery is learning self-care, learning to free ourselves from victimization. I am not a victim of this world. I have choices. I can make different decisions. I have options. We didn't have those in childhood. We haven't had those in situations where we actually were victimized. Sometimes we didn't have an option. So, we need to, so what our goal is now today is to learn self-care and learn to free ourselves from victimization and not to blame ourselves for past experiences. The goal is to arm ourselves so we do not continue to be victimized due to the shame, like victimizing ourselves even due to the shame and unresolved feelings from the original victimization, the actual victimization. So we have our own work, our issues, our recovery tasks. One of those tasks is to stop pointing out fingers at the perpetrator because it distracts us. Although we hold each person responsible and accountable for his or her behavior, we learn compassion for the perpetrator. Like I said in my video yesterday, like when someone actually punches you in the face, it's not personal. It's an unload of anger and rage, and they've got a whole other story going on. They are actually innocent, they're innocent because they're believing their thoughts in that moment, which are untrue thoughts. And so as if we have actually been victimized, we need to learn forgiveness, and not for the other person. The forgiveness is for ourselves, for our own well-being. So one of the tasks is to stop pointing our finger at the perpetrator. They did that to me, they did it, because it distracts us. If we're doing that, then we're not going to do the work. Although we hold each person responsible and accountable for his or her behavior, we learn compassion for the perpetrator. We understand that many forces have come into play in that person's life too. At the same time, we do not hold on to shame. We learn to understand the role we played in our victimization, the role we played. In every situation, you have a part. So how we fell into that role and did not rescue ourselves. What was I doing that got me into that situation? And I need to see that so that I don't continue repeating that behavior. So how do we not rescue ourselves? But that is information to arm us so that it need not happen again. There you go. Let go of victim shame. We have issues and tasks, but our issue is not to feel guilty and wrong because we have been victimized. That's not it. We need to do the work to figure out why we did those things, why we put ourselves in those situations, and then figure that out so that we can and look at it and then realize now we have a choice. We can do something different. Here's your prayer for today. Today, I will set myself free from any victim shame I may have been harboring or hanging on to. That's it. I release it. I release that shame. Give it to God. Give it to higher powers. It is not yours to hold on to, and it will keep you in bondage, and it will keep you from living your free, true, loving, amazing self. I love you all. Namaste. Thanks for watching. Please hit subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're on the journey and you're loving these videos. Okay, thanks for watching. Love you all.